Excellent. So today I'm really excited. I am joined with Cheney McGlynn, and I'm really excited not only to share this experience and to have you as part of our Homegrown 2020 series, but also because your background and your experience is so very different to what we've had so far. So I'm really looking forward to hearing more about, what you do, why you do, how you juggle all the things, and of course to be able to share it with our audience as well. So before I give you the opportunity to do all of that, just a bit of a short intro. Cheney is an ex-cop, a lawyer, and is now a PI. She's the owner of Desktop Investigations, where herself and team specialise in skip tracing, which I believe is where people skip their debt. And from corresponding with you, can also trace people for any reason, really, at the end of the day. But that's all I'm going to reveal, and I'm going to hand the rest over to you. But before I do, I just want to say again, thank you so much for your time and your energy and being a part of the series. I feel so incredibly grateful and inspired to meet with yourself as well as the other women who have dedicated their time, and I know that there are others out there that will feel exactly the same way. So thank you. And that is, I guess, it from me. So kick off. I would love it if you could share a little bit about your background and who you are, not only Desktop Investigations, but also, I guess, who you are outside of your business as well.
Sure. So I'm a born and bred Kiwi. At 21, I went to do my OE and I landed in Australia and stayed there for 15 years. I joined the cops over there, so I was a New South Wales Police Officer. That was an amazing time. I love that. I then left there and decided that there was more that I could be doing. So I actually wanted to get a formal qualification. You get something through the police, but it's just a certificate. So I decided to do my law degree. So I did that up in the Gold Coast, up at Bond Uni. What a great uni. And then moved back down to Sydney, stayed with my dad for a while. This was kind of mid-30s. And then thought, gosh, I should probably start looking to settle down, meet someone. I'm getting a bit old. 2011, I moved back to New Zealand. And since then, living up in Auckland, met my husband-to-be, who's now my husband. And I've got 2 kids. So living the dream. I'm living out rurally in New Zealand at the moment, but within, could we ever jump into Auckland should I need to for business meetings and to deal with my staff. So I say I'm living the dream, and I'm very lucky. Yeah.
Fantastic. We have a very similar story. I also went to go on my OE, went to Australia, got there for 11 years. In my early 30s, also did the same thing. Oh, where's my life going? Surely I need more. And of course, moved back to New Zealand last year and now live rurally as well. Just don't have the kids and the husband. So
that'll come. Place. Yep.
Oh, I love it.
Rush on the kids.
No, absolutely not. So how in the world, you've shared with us your story from police to lawyer. So how did Desktop Investigations kind of come about?
When I did my professionals, so you've got to do some more papers after you finish your law degree. They're called, we call them your profs, your professionals. So I did that in Sydney. Then I moved back and I started looking for a job, and I was essentially middle 30s woman who had a lot of experience as a police officer and had this law degree, but I was essentially a graduate. I was lucky enough to get a job with the Serious Fraud Office as an investigative lawyer. So within that job, within every file, I guess you have a forensic accountant, an investigator, and a lawyer. And I, because of my background, was able to do 2 slots out of that 1 slot out of the team. So I jumped on that. That was just my incredible dream job. I love that job. I've got 100% success rate with prosecutions, and got some great experience and met some great people. At that time, I met my husband and went on maternity leave with my son Thomas. And I'm not very good at sitting down. I know that when you're on maternity leave, you're supposed to just spend time with your baby, and I don't know. I got itchy feet, and so I kind of thought to myself, well, what can I do on maternity leave while I've got this baby that allows me, I can do both. So I started just doing a bit of work with a private investigator, and I guess one of my strengths is report writing. We were writing 150-page reports for prosecutions for the Serious Fraud Office. So I was helping him with his report stuff and kind of got an insight into the private investigation world. I kind of feel like it's full circle. Back in my 20s, before I joined the cops, I looked at doing my private investigations course. So I've come full circle. I stopped that and then joined the police. So I helped him out a little bit, and then I was going to go back to work, and I got pregnant again quite quickly, which was great, with a daughter. And then I thought to myself, how on earth, I mean, my kids are really close together, am I going to juggle, you know, going back to work with 2 young babies? And I didn't want to put them in daycare from such a young age. So I thought to myself, what skills do I have? Where are my strengths? What's my wheelhouse? What can I create for myself? You know, a business that would afford me a lifestyle. And desktop investigations kind of came about from, I guess, kind of, I don't know if you're spiritual, but I kind of put it out to the universe and said, hey, where do you need me? This is what I want to do. Can you help me kind of figure it out? And it's funny, after I had Billy, the kids went into daycare when they were 2. So I had a nanny for a little while. She helped me out while I did some contract work. And then I was working as a senior investigator for the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment in the bankruptcy team, which is a great job, you know, kind of investigating bankrupts. So when you become bankrupt, there's a whole bunch of things you can't do, you know, like travel, borrow money without permission, buy a car over a certain amount. So I would investigate them. Loved it. Great job. But it's funny, I got this email from a guy from a finance company who said, hey, I found your CV on Seek. I don't even know it was there. You look exactly like what we're looking for. Can you do skip tracing? And to be honest, I didn't even know what that was. So I Googled it and went, oh, I can find people, you know, I can investigate that. So I emailed him back. He said, you know, if this was something that you're interested in, you know, what would your capacity be? I had no idea. So I just thought, look, this is an opportunity, and I believe in all opportunities, you know. So I went along for the meeting. Let's just say that guy's now off on doing some different work, but we're business partners in another, we can talk about that later, in another part of another business we have. So fortuitous, amazing, and has just opened up, you know, the world for me to be able to live the lifestyle that I want for, you know, me and my family. So yeah, very lucky.
Oh, fantastic. So what I'm picking up from you is an incredibly positive vibe, which I absolutely love. You know, you talk about all these jobs and how much you love them, and which is beautiful. And I think there's a lot of people out there that can really resonate with that they're not necessarily looking to leave their job because they don't like it. They love it, and maybe they're just looking for a different lifestyle, or like you, they want to have kids, or they've got young kids, and it's like, well, how do I take what I already love and turn it into something else?
Yep.
So I guess off the back of that, you know, you've no doubt got a lot of advice for people who are looking to tweak their, you know, high achieving career self and have kids, have a family, juggle it all and start a business. Any advice that you've got out there for those new mums or women who are wanting to become mums and start a business around that same time?
Yeah, look, a piece of advice, I was actually given this, I don't know, about 12 years ago, and it came off, my younger brother's a lawyer as well. He's a commercial lawyer, so I'm criminal. We're different spheres, which is quite good. But I was talking about, you know, passions and, you know, given that I was a bit older as a graduate, where could I go? Because he left school, went to uni, and then he's been a lawyer for, I don't know, 15, 20 years now. So he said to me, find a niche. So I've kind of zhuzhed it, I guess, over the years. So my advice would be, have a look at what you're passionate about, whether it's to do with work or any aspect of your life. Try and find a niche of something within that passion that you can do. So investigations for me, my niche was skip tracing. So try and find something that you can do in your niche that someone else is either, number one, not doing, which is quite difficult to find these days because everyone's doing everything, or number two, not doing very well. So that's what I did. So we've been in business now for 3 years, and I could say without a shadow of a doubt, we're the best skip tracers in New Zealand. So I don't need to go out and get any more work. We've probably got, I don't know, 40 clients, regular work. I've got ladies that work from home for me. They work, you know, in their PJs, and we are busy. There's more work coming. You know, I get phone calls all the time. I'm at a great place where I can take the work or leave the work. So obviously I'm deciding kind of it's funny, it's been the time over Christmas to sit and ruminate and do I want to, I'm very comfortable with where I'm at, but do I want to take the next level and scale? And I think I do after a nap. Yeah. Yeah, so it's definitely, look, I've spent a lot of time talking about my passion and finding my purpose. And you know what, I think a lot of it's not external, it's internal. And with the niche-y thing, I believe that you can find something small and boutique-y that you can do within any industry and do that really, really, really well. Instead of being a jack of all trades, be a jack of just something really specific. Yeah.
Completely agree.
Unpacking it. Get a big piece of paper, write down, what do you love doing? You know, do you like drawing? Do you like investigating? Do you like, you know, writing? And then kind of try and narrow it down into something that you could look at to create you know, income out of. Yeah, so it's kind of not work. Yeah.
I really love that piece of advice, because I know that there is a lot you know, that there are people out there that talk about that, but when you're starting a business, you don't want to hear that. You want to help everyone if it's coming from a purpose-based business. And you know, you can try, but I kind of see it like a net. If you're going to put a net over all the ocean, you're probably not going to get a lot back. But if you just put it over a smaller part, then you're able to bring in a lot more than what you can instead of everything. So that's perfect.
Well, I find with even the marketing and advertising, you know, the scattergun approach never works. So you need to be really specific, you know, figure out who your audience will be, what do they need from you, and can you provide that, and can you provide it in the best way, because you want to be the best at what you're going to do. But also on top of that is, I don't want to work harder, because I think that whole work harder till your eyes bleed, you must have the side hustle, you must work 100 hours a week. That's bloody rubbish, quite frankly. You need to work smarter, not harder. So I've got ladies that work for me, and you know, along the way I clip the ticket. However, so my strengths are yes, investigating and teaching and nurturing and mentoring, you know, my ladies, and make sure I get the best out of them and they enjoy it. But also, you know, that client relationship and going out and getting the work. But I don't need to hustle it. It's just, you know, with clients, I give them something before they're my client. I give them something before I ask for something. I ask for work. So I guess it's, I don't believe that I'm in sales as such when I go to get business. I believe that I'm providing them a service, and I don't need to sell myself, because our product, you know, our product service speaks for itself. So I just kind of want to make that clear. I see, you know, with all our Facebook groups that we all belong to, and it's just more, and I'm just thinking, it's just not more. I don't, you know, have to work 40 hours a week if I don't want to. You know what I mean? I can go out and play with my kids and have an afternoon nap. And I just don't think more is the way. So if we think about that a little bit, and the way that we, you know, set our businesses up and create our futures, I think that's a big part of it.
Yes, I completely agree. I'm very passionate about this topic that you have brought up myself. And I come from a place of, if we're going to work for ourselves, it's about creating the lifestyle and incorporating the business into that, not having the business and incorporating life. Otherwise, why not just stay in the job where you're already doing it? And, you know, you'll just burn yourself out and you'll be miserable, and then you'll want to keep on recreating. But no, so I very much agree with what you've just said there. And I love talking about it. I'm very passionate about it. But I won't come off onto the tangent. So, but talking about, you know, this holistic model and being able to have an amazing lifestyle, have a business that funds that, and be able to, you know, spend time with your kids, have naps, do all of those fun things. How have you gone about, I guess, you know, managing, like, how have you set that up for yourself? Is it that you're quite good with flow, or are you structured, or how do you, I guess, make sure you stay in that balanced place? Or does it just come naturally to you?
Yeah, I think it does. It's just, I don't really buy into the work hard, play hard, think flow, whatever. My work, the way that I've created, I guess, my businesses, is that they can be done anywhere, anytime, from anywhere, which gives you the flexibility to not have to get up at a certain time and be somewhere and open your laptop and all the rest of it. I mean, essentially I can do anything on my phone. So I can take the kids out to the park, and if they're having a little play, I can do 5 minutes on my phone and deal with the urgent things. I think it's all about priorities. And, you know, sometimes I want to work. I don't want to spend time with the kids all the time. I mean, crikey, you know. So I need adult conversation. So yeah, I think, yes, I guess you have to talk about the word balance. You know, I've got a really supportive husband who just says, "Hey babe, shoot for the stars, do whatever you want," you know. But it's the setting it up of, I guess I didn't start out with going, "Oh, this is what I'm gonna do." What I wanted to do is, I don't want to work for the man. And you know, I don't want to have to get up and be somewhere, as I said, and dress a certain way and attend meetings on meetings. I've done that for years. I don't want to do that anymore. If I have a meeting, I'm having a meeting for a reason, because I want to, and it's going to, you know, not because it's obligated and it's stuck in my calendar. I mean, you know, where I live now, I've joined the PTA and I'm on the board. You know, I'm chairman of the board, which I'm very lucky to be able to do, because I've got extra time, and you know, it's giving back to the community, and making sure that the kids know that I kind of care and I'm there. So the time that I spend with the kids is time that I spend with the kids. It's not partial on my phone. I mean, you know, the playground thing is you know, not all the time, but it's yeah, I guess you just have to think about what's important to you and how can you set that up in a way so that, you know, right now I'm talking to you, but I'm earning money because my ladies are working. You know what I mean? So I guess when you're thinking about, you know, what can you do or what do you want to do with your life, see if there's a way, when you're trying to think about your niche and what you're going to do, can you upscale in the sense that work smarter, not harder, have people working for you. Yeah. Yes, if that wasn't off on a tangent.
Yeah, and I think that you've mentioned that a couple of times in that, is that start with that mentality. Don't build it and then think that you're going to be able to get all of this time back, because it's very hard to do it that way. If you want to start your own business, start it from a place of which you want to run it at, and then grow it like that, not the reverse. Is that accurate? If I picked that up properly?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't have I mean, I have some people who say, "Oh, do you have a routine?" I don't have a routine at all, other than I'm training for a marathon at the moment. I know I'm a bit stupid, but know that I don't run at night. I have to run in the morning. So I've been getting up 6:30, go and do it, and then come back, and then I'm done for the day. And then if something comes up and I go, "Oh, look, I should just do a couple of hours on the computer," I'll just do it. I don't, you know, it's not, I'm not stuck. I guess I've got a lot of things on the go. Because I get bored quite quickly. So I've got desktop investigations. I've also got a debt collection company called Desktop Management. We've got a few big businesses on board, and I've also got a company called Runoff Desktop Date Check. So we do background checks for people who are dating. Now that side of the business, that doesn't make me any money essentially. However, for me, as a woman who has online dated and been in the dating world for a long time before I met my husband, it's something I would have used, and I believe it's necessary. I mean, I've been doing searches. I've had one lady come back twice, and she's been scammed twice so far. We found a guy in Ghana that she met on Tinder. You know, so it's a small amount of money to pay. You know, it's under $100 for a private investigator to do a couple of hours digging. It's kind of my little give back to try and keep these ladies safe. So I do have another thing that I started called Friend Central, which is a website. Kind of goes back to 2008 when I was doing my law degree on the Gold Coast. There weren't really any places for you to meet people other than online dating or go and sit at a bar by yourself, which I clearly didn't want to do. So I thought, why isn't there a website where you can just make friends? So I created that and launched it in November. I was lucky enough to do that on AM show to get a little bit of, I'd been on a couple of times. I launched Date Check on there, and they've been fabulous to me. And just trying to, I guess with all the businesses, it's trying to build something that doesn't require my physical attention, because that takes my time. So I'm trying to create a future where my income is essentially passive, without a lot of my time and input. So that's kind of simmering away on the side. We're doing some advertising at the moment. So, you know, as I said, yes, there's a lot going on, but as I said, I've set it up in a way that I don't need to do 50 hours a week. I can do a smaller amount and get everything done. And especially if I might go, right, I'm going to work all day today so I can have the next 2 days off. Or I'm going to work tonight so I don't have to work in the morning. So yeah, so I've purposefully set it up like that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fantastic. And I love that you've introduced these other parts of your business that you'd alluded to. And I was like, oh, we've got an open loop here. I need to know what the rest of them are. So how fascinating. And I love the online, the dating search, because obviously we are in a scary day and age where bad things do happen and vulnerable people need some assistance. So, you know, so that's a really great, I guess, initiative. And as you mentioned, way to be able to give back to, you know, your former self going through that stage too.
Yeah. Well, I got to a stage, I've got a girlfriend who's going, you know, second time round, and she said, oh, I met this guy, and I said, oh, well, let's just have a little look. Well, it turned out he was married with 2 kids, which he didn't tell her. I know. So and she asked me again, and then another friend asked me, and I thought, you know what, there's got to be a business in this. So I created the website. One of the lovely ladies from our group did it, Louisa, and she's amazing. And I haven't marketed as such. I've done a few Facebook things, but I might this year look to just get it out a little bit. But when the Grace Mullane thing happened, you know, she met him on Tinder, that just really kind of hit home for me, that we were asked to do a little bit of digging for the defence about that guy, and there was just stuff there that if you knew where to look, you would have gone. I don't usually, so what I usually do is we'll do the digging and then I'll write a report. And I don't usually give an opinion because I don't think that's my place. What I want to do is give you all the information and then you make the decision. But if someone, you know, if it feels to me in my gut, this is yuck and this is not right, I will then call the person and say, can I have a conversation with you about this? You know, this is not right. So I've actually, you know, above and beyond, I don't really care about my time when it comes to that. That's really important to me. So I'm not saying I could have definitely not prevented her death. However, if we can stop another lady being scammed, because let's be honest, it's generally ladies, or being hurt or, you know, heartache, then it's a great thing. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I completely agree. Who needs to go down that path when it's hard enough as it is to have all this rubbish that goes on with it? And, you know, and that Grace Mullane, I guess, you know, that was a horrific story. And as that kind of unfolded, I'm sure that there would have been some very big red lights along the way that, you know, could have potentially, you know, protected her or, you know, or other women in that space. So
yeah.
Now, Cheney, a lot of the women who watch our series are either looking to start businesses, and you've kind of really given some great advice to them. The others are, you know, they're growing a business. It's challenging. It can be more challenging at times than others. You know, we're heading into a newer year. And, you know, sometimes people wonder if this is the right path for them or if they should just stay where they are and not worry about or go back to a job. But do you have any advice, I guess, for that woman who is on the fence saying, I just don't know if this is worth it, or, you know, what should I do next?
Yeah, I absolutely do. And it's number one, listen to your gut. If it doesn't feel right, then just don't do it. I see so many posts online from the group that we, you know, belong to of, oh, I'm just not sure, I've got sleepless nights, blah, 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 this is all too hard. And I'm like, there's a reason it's too hard. It's because you're not on the right path. Stop, reset, go and get a job if you need to, take a deep breath and just get the hell out. I feel for these ladies because I just want to shake them and say, you know, hey, look, I'm all for hard work and I'm all for, you know, you've got to put in to get out. I get that. But you know what, when it's right, for me, it's been hard at times, but I've always known, I've never ever once gone, I don't want to do this anymore. Like not once. And I get bored quick. So in the 3 years, I've never once gone, I'm not sure. So that says to me, I'm on the right path for this thing that I'm doing. And I've got that thing and that thing and that thing. Because we all like shiny new things. But definitely it's just a no. Just stop. And if you need to ring me, I'll tell you to stop. You know what I mean? I feel for them, and yes, you put money into it and your heart and soul and all the rest of it. But if you're having second thoughts, then I just feel like it's not for you. It's just not for you. So there will be something else maybe that you could do that to your business, a little tweak that you could make that could turn it on its head and set you soaring. And I think that one of the other pieces of advice I have, and I use this for myself all the time, is my brain is busy, right? She's busy all the time. We just need to stop, you know. If we are so busy jamming so much stuff into our brains, you know, we're podcasting and we're Facebooking and we're Netflixing and we're blah, 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 blah. then how can the universe send you these bright spark moments or present you with these opportunities? There's no space. There's no space to send anything else in. So meditation, yoga, taking a walk, just taking a deep breath and just stopping and just literally stopping is so super important. If you fill your life with stuff, you won't be able to let anything else in. There will be no other opportunities. There'll be no time for anything else to arrive. So I just think that's so super important. And, you know, in society and today, it's just, there's too much.
Yeah, yep, agree. I was actually just talking to someone before you and I connected. They were saying how they were not enjoying, you know, putting together their marketing content and how frustrated they were and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, and it was in a different group. And, you know, there was some interesting feedback coming to that person. And I just went in, well, because he said, I'm going to be really honest. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to be really honest here. I said, I've also felt like that. But I said, you know what I did? I said, I took a break and I took a holiday and I relaxed and I realized the world will not end. And we can get so detailed and so tunnel vision. And it's like, but what's the point? If we don't enjoy what we're doing, then no one else is going to enjoy it either. And sometimes it's just a break. Sometimes, as you mentioned, it's a pivot. And sometimes it's about going, right, I actually don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to go do something else instead. And being okay with that.
That's totally exactly right. Or the other thing is going, you know what? Marketing's not my forte. So I've got one of the ladies in the group that go, yeah, then spend your time on something you enjoy, because there's no point wasting a whole freaking day trying to do Facebook posts, or no, it's just a no from me. So just no. Get someone else to do it, and they can do it probably. I had a VA doing my stuff for $35 an hour. Well, that's the best money I've ever spent. It's like getting a cleaner. Let's do it. You know what I mean? So just stop doing the stuff that you hate doing, because you know what? Tomorrow's not guaranteed.
No.
You might wake up tomorrow and you're up there and wherever we're going and go, well, I'm glad I spent the day doing something I hate.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And, you know, and why I hate it. Because at the end of the day, when we start businesses, we don't sign anything that says we must do everything all the time. I never signed that contract, so I don't know if anyone else did. But it is, it's like, I don't like this. Someone else can do it for me. Amazing.
The 8 hours it takes you, it could take someone half an hour and you spent $50. Just do it, for God's sake. You know?
Yeah, love it. I love that piece of advice. Thank you. Now, just a couple of final questions from me. I guess a big part of this series is to talk about, or talk with people who are championing change. You know, some people are talking about it from a life perspective, relationship, health, or business. And, you know, and I guess just deciding to go out there and do something that makes them happy and passionate about it. But what does championing change mean to you?
Well, I kind of think that I've been doing that with the date check, and I mean, I'm not going to save the world with desktop investigations or desktop management, but I think giving something back for date check, and also Friend Central, which is kind of dear to my heart. You know, the whole mental health thing. I know that everyone talks about it now. It's a new thing, the new buzzword. But I've had some friends commit suicide, and I know what it's like to be lonely, especially, you know, when you're older, / you don't fit in when you're younger. So I guess the champion the change thing for me is I really want people to get off their phones, turn your freaking notifications off, best thing I ever did, and actually just go outside. And, you know, what did we do when we were younger? We went outside and we made friends with the next door neighbour kid because it was easy. You know, why are we not doing that? You know, I've talked to some young people in their 20s, young people, you know, who've said that they don't know how to meet people these days, and that makes me so sad. You know, we used to go to a bar and have a drink and look across the room, and there's another group of boys and there's a group of girls, and we all just hung out. And I think that that's lost, and I feel sad for the kids, you know, especially my kids growing up, very mindful of, you know, devices and time spent and stuff like that. So championing change for me is trying to, you know, it's basically, can I say, pushing shit uphill, trying to get people off their devices. But you know what, if no one tries, we're not going to know. And so if there's someone out there going, you know what, I've had enough of my phone and I want to meet some people, then that's what that's for. So, but it's also, you know, it's we all talk about, you know, passion and purpose and what have you, but I think it's all about actually going within and figuring out what's really important to you. Is it, what legacy are you going to leave? How do I treat my children? Do I spend time with them? You know, am I good to my neighbors? Am I giving back to my community? You know, what actually are you here for? What do you want to do with your life? And I think if you pull right back, as I said, get a big piece of paper, write some balloons, write some words that pop into your mind. Don't think about it. See how they all hook up. See what your skills are. See what you can do. You know, I mean, it's, you know, we're not going to change the world, but we can make a big difference if we all just try. You know, we've got to try. We can't not try. So yeah, so I'm just trying to do my little bit to see if we can't, you know, help someone, help one person. Great.
Love it. Thank you. Now, if we have got someone in our viewers or audience that would like to hear the stop doing the business or have a break and reach out to you, or looking for some advice, or maybe they're more interested in about some date checking or meeting friends or the more business orientated side of what you run, how does someone best go about reaching out to you?
Look, you can just email me. You can find desktopinvestigations.co.nz, but my email is Cheney, so CHENEY @desktopinvestigations.co.nz, or you could message me through Date Check or Friend Central. Yeah, so any of those businesses, yeah, more than happy to connect. And look, I'm not saying my advice is the best, but it's, you know, I'm kind of living by what I talk about, and I'm very lucky. I have a great life. I've lots of gratitude every day for what I've been able to create, and long may it continue.
Yeah, I love it. I've loved your energy. I've loved it. You know, we share so many, I guess, what's the right word? So many values on what we've spoken about and very similar beliefs. And I love talking about it, and I love being able to get that out there for others to actually hear about it too, and kind of go a little bit against the grain of the other mass information that we are fed. So thank you again so much for, you know, for your time, for your energy, for all of your words of wisdom. It has been absolutely amazing. And I will let you return back to the rest of your day, and thanks.
Thank you very much. Thanks for doing this.